Hey everyone, I'm Jay.
And I'm Shawn.
And we watched a movie.
Yeah, we did.
So it is the one you've all been waiting for. The big movie of the week. Screw whatever's in the theaters. On Amazon Prime, everyone's watching Cinderella. Did the world need another remake of Cinderella?
Oh sure, why not?
I tend to agree. I think, first of all, this movie justifies its existence. It gives us something different. We're not just getting the same old Cinderella.
Because we're not getting the Disney Cinderella.
Right. We are not getting the Disney Cinderella. I mean, we're not getting any kind of Cinderella that's been told before, I have to say. But it's built its own little niche, and I think it does a really good job of doing it.
It's fun.
It's fun. I mean, I don't want to label this a guilty pleasure because, as you know, I never feel guilt. But it's one of those fun movies.
Everyone's singing and dancing.
Oh yeah,
having a good time.
Especially me.
Well, it was all the songs that you know.
Yep, and I knew all of the choreography.
Somehow.
Well, I made it look pretty seamless.
Yes, you did.
I think we can all agree. So, Cinderella, the classic story of an orphan girl made to serve her evil stepmother and stepsisters while living in the basement, to besmirched with the cinders that give her the name Cinderella. Otherwise, it's just Ella, if you're not being rude about it. And I think probably we shouldn't be. I feel like we've been just calling her this slur this whole time.
We have been part of the bullying. It's true.
Right. Sorry, Ella. Elsewhere in the kingdom, a young prince has to get married to become king and ascend the throne, throwing a ball to find a bride because he has this silly notion of marrying for love instead of duty and power, which his dad wants him to do.
Yeah, he's a no good Nick.
So he is like, since I want love, what I'm going to do is throw a big dance and find the lady that I will fall in love with that very night. So let's dive right in. Cinderella, or Ella as we'll call her. No, we won't. We'll call her Cinderella.
Well, we'll have to.
Ella, of course, is played by the Cuban-born, American-raised singer-songwriter Camila Cabello. Only 24 years old.
Wow, she feels like she's been around a long time.
Well, she has.
Okay.
They start them young.
Yeah.
And she's got that much talent. She's not hiding her light under a bushel. And how dare you suggest she do so, sir?
I didn't know such thing.
She, of course, is dating Canadian Shawn Mendes. I know you know that little
I do know that somehow. Yeah. I don't know. I don't go looking for that stuff.
You really don't.
Yeah.
So it's surprising when any item of like celebrity life at all crosses, like, it's a big deal.
It is a big
Shawn
deal if I know about it.
And not from me.
That's the test. Yeah.
Yes. So she stars as Ella. Shawn Mendes does not star as her prince.
That's a missed opportunity.
It is. I don't know if he's just like a terrible actor, because I feel like they must have really wanted them.
Yeah. They must have tried. Mm-hmm. So maybe he is just really bad at acting.
Maybe he is. But anyways, he's just been home in Toronto walking his dog, you know. And people get excited with sightings. Although they were in Miami this week for the premiere of Cinderella, of course. People were really discussing the sheer volume, really, of the tulle of her dress, which I thought was fantastic, actually. She looked great. I think we rather should have been speaking about the sheerness of Shawn Mendes' shirt. Now, I just think ever since he, turned 23, he wants us all to know he's got some chest hairs now. They're not kids anymore, but they have known each other since 2014. 2014, and he's 23.
Yeah.
They've not been going together that whole time, but they were friends first.
Of course.
Which is nice.
It is nice.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, Vivian, which is what we're calling the wicked stepmother. Lady Tremaine is what Disney called her in the classic cartoon of 1950. That's how old classic Cinderella is, yeah. the wicked stepmother Vivian, played by Idina Menzel. Oh, I love her. I kind of hated seeing her as the evil stepmother. Yeah. Like, come on. she's like glowing and ethereal, and she doesn't look like she's got an evil bone in her body exactly.
She doesn't.
And I think this movie is trying to humanize her a little bit, but she's still making some questionable decisions. So don't worry. Cinderella's still got a foe. She's still an orphan. Oh, so sad. Her daddy died. Her mother died a long time ago, even before then. Her best friends are mice.
Yeah.
That's still a thing. Don't worry about that. In this one, though, we know in the Disney version, in the cartoon of 1950, we know that Cinderella can sew, at least a little bit, because the first dress that she attempts to wear to the ball is, I think, one of her mother's that she sort of updated and made new, with help from her bird friends, etc. You know, they all have different talents with sewing and beadwork and such. In this movie, she's an aspiring designer. And even though this movie is set in some olden days time period that you can't quite exactly get a read on exactly when it is, but it's, you know, once upon a time, a long time ago. But some of her designs are quite avant-garde and modern for our times, not hers. So she's good. She's a good designer. Yes. That's what she wants to do. She's got a lot of dresses with whatever materials she can afford, which is not much. So that was one thing I noticed right away. Not just the dresses she's designing, but everyone's costumes. I always love that in a period piece. And these ones are like over the top. They are definitely not worrying about accurate historical time periods. They're just embracing the sort of sumptuous qualities of it. So in that way, it reminded me a little bit of the Kenneth Branagh live-action Disney remake that we had several years ago now with Lily James, you may remember, as Cinderella. And Cate Blanchett was the evil stepmother. And I hated her too because I love her so much. But damn, she looked good as the evil stepmother in that movie, I must say. Beautiful gowns on her.
Well, so you have to if you're going to a ball.
Yes, but even at home.
Oh, that's true, yes.
Even at home.
They were very upscale.
Yes, for sure. So I will say Ellen Mirojnick is the costume designer for this movie, so big props to her because I certainly was enjoying them all around. Lots of good stuff to see. Of course, we're all in it for Cinderella's ball gown and the glass slippers. Oh, so you have to tune in, if only for that. But don't worry, it won't be just for that. What else is just wonderful about this? Aside from that sort of comparison with the costumes, mostly I was comparing this, I have to say, to a little TV movie I loved so much as a kid. It came out in 1997, I think it was, and it starred Brandy as Cinderella.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yes, so it was wonderful. So now Camilla is the new Brandy. And do you know who the new Whitney Houston is? Because of course, the legendary Whitney Houston played the fairy godmother in that movie. And in this movie, it's Billy Porter. Making the fairy godmother fabulous.
I think probably Whitney was fabulous also.
Oh, she was. She was. So I think this is actually a really nice way to carry that honor. That, you know, that was kind of the most appropriate thing you could probably do. I loved it. I definitely approved. So Bernadette Peters played the wicked stepmother in Brandy's version, and I have to say, like, Idina Menzel probably is the new Bernadette Peters. We don't even need a new one because Bernadette Peters is still knocking our socks off.
I don't know who that is.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
We'll have a long discussion about this later, and you will feel remorse. Anyways, Victor Garber played the king in the Brandy version, and you know who the queen was?
No.
Whoopi. It was Whoopi Goldberg.
Okay.
That's right. And in this movie, who do we have?
We have Pierce Brosnan as the king, and Minnie Driver as the queen.
That's
Who
right.
we haven't seen in a long time.
Well, I've seen her quite a lot, but
Okay.
you know, I know how you are. Pierce Brosnan still got it. Oof, that man. You know, there's a lot of the prince in this movie is quite young, guys.
Yeah, there's a big age gap
Yeah. Well, in what for what?
between Pierce and his son.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. There's quite an age gap between Pierce and his wife, Minnie Driver.
Okay.
I just meant I shouldn't be lusting after Prince Charming in this movie because he's a baby.
Okay.
So I have to go
You're a
after
baby.
his daddy. Call me. Yeah, so I quite enjoyed the casting, I must say. I thought it was fun.
Yes. Well, there's tons of big names, obviously.
So one name that I didn't know is Nicholas Galitzine. He plays the part of Shawn Mendes. No, he plays Prince Charming, who actually goes by Robert in this movie. It's Prince Robert. I don't think anyone called him Charming.
No, I don't think so.
Controversial.
A little.
But you may recognize him from The Craft Legacy.
No, I did not.
Well, okay. But you have seen that movie.
I have seen that movie.
And enjoyed that movie.
I did enjoy that movie.
Yeah. Prince Robert has an earring.
Yes, he does.
That's got to be anachronistic. Oh boy.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah.
He is a prince, but he's got an edge. He's not just charming, he's debonair. And this movie is from writer-director Kay Cannon, a female director attached to this, which is fabulous. Now, you remember where we first met her. It was at her directorial debut.
Oh, yeah. What, the Blockers.
Blockers, that's right. So we saw her at the Southwest Film Festival a few years ago now. And so this is her second film.
Okay.
Written and directed by her. And I have to say, the writing was notable. And this movie, you know, you can really just rest on the fact that this is a classic fairy tale that everybody knows the big beats of, and it's beloved. But there's a lot of little in-jokes that I was really appreciating in this one. For example, when she's leaving the ball at midnight, you know, she's dashing away. This Cinderella doesn't just lose her glass slipper, she lobs it at a man's head. And she just bemoans the fact that we are not dressing your feet for comfort. She knew these glass slippers were a mistake, and here she is trying to run like a track star, but she's hobbled by glass slippers. I think it's funny because just in the last few years, we've kind of been noticing how many women still in the 2020s are hobbled by high heels in action movies. Bryce Dallas Howard seemed to take it particularly rough when she spent the entirety of Jurassic World running around an amusement park in heels, in stilettos that I would say are impractical for work, let alone the apocalypse. But hey, I think it's funny that we have left it to Cinderella, known for wearing shards of glass on her feet, to tell us it's not appropriate. She probably would have worn Uggs. But I have to say, the quote that I really loved the most, and I'm still laughing about it. See?
And there it is.
I'm still laughing a little bit about it. Because when her fairy godmother appears, he asks her, do you want to go to that ball and meet a bunch of rich people who'll change your life? And she says, yes, I was literally just crying and singing about it like 2 minutes ago. Which is true. I appreciated that we could all admit that together. You know, it drives me crazy, the conceit of movies where we pretend we didn't all just know this is exactly what she wanted. Of course we know. She told us. Anyways, that is a lovely moment when the fairy godmother appears. A unique take on fairy godmother's origin story. A wonderful gown on Billy Porter that I am dying of jealousy over. So we are going to hit some familiar beats in the story, of course. Oh, woe is the prince. He needs a wife, and Cinderella wants out of the house and to contribute and to have a meaningful career. Okay, that's less familiar, but still, it's part of the whole thing. And then, of course, there's the ball. The ball, and they fall in love, and then she has to leave because it's midnight, and then he goes looking for her. And one thing I haven't even mentioned yet, and it's literally the best part of the movie, is that it's a musical. Not the Disney musical, not those songs they are a lot of songs you've heard before, although not just. Of course, Million to One is the Camila song you'll be hearing on the radio, I'm sure. That one was written expressly for the movie.
They like to do that.
Yes, and they reprise it several times. I also felt like the song sung by the town choir must have been written for the movie, or else who is writing these songs?
Specific.
Yes, they are. But there are really great songs that appear in the movie, including, I think, and starting with Rhythm Nation.
Yep,
Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation, which was really well done. Because the whole town, the whole nation, the whole Rhythm Nation, if you will, and you must because I forced it on you there, they really get in on not just the singing, but also the dancing.
The dancing.
And, the playing of pots and pans and whatever is available.
Yep.
Everyone's in on it. Well, we can't all be the prince. Somebody to love, of course, because that's what the prince needs. So he's got to belt that out really sadly and longingly. Yes. Material Girl. That was covered by Stepmother and Stepsisters because they're looking for a man with cash. Who isn't? Really. My favorite probably, at the ball, when all of the town's single ladies fall instantly in love with this prince, they break out into the salt and pepper hit, What a Man. And let me tell you, he may be a child, but you'll still appreciate the song. This song is older than he is.
Yeah.
But it's wonderful. It's still good. They still got it. And fans of Ed Sheeran will not be disappointed. He's going to help the couple get romantical.
As he does.
That is what he does. So I liked this movie. I liked Camila. I liked everyone in it, really. It was very well cast. It looks great. It sounds great. Aside from the obvious Miss Cabello, there's a lot of great singers in this cast, some of which may surprise you. Pierce Brosnan, not really one of them.
No, but he's fine. They know it.
No, I mean, the thing is, he was in Mamma Mia. He's been in musicals before. I just mean the King is known for not being a great singer.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Although, try telling a king that. It doesn't stop him. But this Ella is feisty, isn't she, Shawn?
Very feisty.
She's feisty. She's not just about marriage and being a wife and a princess. She wants to follow her dreams. Ooh, well, that does put her at odds with what's expected of her and what the prince is asking of her, ultimately. Because, of course, they do fall in love at the ball, and he proposes before midnight, and it's very awkward when she then runs away from him. So I thought that this last third of the movie, where we're sort of dealing with what happens if Cinderella doesn't have her happily ever after, or it just doesn't look like the one we're used to. I think that's where this movie really sort of justifies its existence and really makes you feel like there was room for this remake. We had room for it. It's got great songs. It's really nice to have the mix of like a new song that you can hear on the radio, but like older songs that everybody knows and can sing along to. That makes a musical really fun, I think. That was part of what made Glee so exciting to watch week after week.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Because they're taking on songs we all know. And they're doing them a little different. And bending them to their story, but they're telling them, and we get to sing along because we know them so well. So I do love the soundtrack to this movie. I will be watching it again. Thank goodness it's on Amazon Prime, because I can watch it as many times as I want.
Just like you did with The Greatest Showman.
I love that movie.
I know you do.
I do watch that one excessively.
Yeah.
Even
And that's
though we
okay.
have the soundtrack,
Yeah. There's room for both.
clearly. So it's nice to find a new little love. And I know it's like a light and fluffy movie.
Yeah.
It is not essential viewing.
No, but it knows that.
Yes.
That's what it's trying to be, and
Yes.
it succeeds.
It's exactly what it should be. You know, it found that niche and then it filled it. So it's a very successful movie in that way.
It is.
So I think a lot of people are going to be watching Cinderella this weekend, and
I think
I'm
so.
definitely going to tell my sister to watch with her daughter, Ella, who probably does not know what a cinder is, and can't wait for her to find out watching this on Amazon Prime. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
Bye.